lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids. No one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slide, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See their shit, force a bear. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids. No one leaves countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgives. Yeah. Coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat right here on UCY.TV. I believe today is the 16th of November, 2016. 15th. What? 15th. 15th? I stand corrected. Today is the 15th of November, 2016. And the weather's been bloody well nice, and I'm appreciative of it. And I hope it hangs with us, but it's supposed to end at the end of this week, and then we get into some much, much cooler weather, unless, of course, we're lucky and the weatherman's wrong again, like normally is. For those who don't know yet, there was an election in the United States, and the United States has a new president, Donald Trump. And somebody sent me what he plans on doing for his first 100 days. I didn't listen to every word of it, but I kind of skipped through it. And the guy sounds sort of like me. And one of the things that I really appreciate him talking about is this free trade nonsense. I've been speaking of this for as long as I can bloody well remember. Free trade is nothing more than a race to the bottom. Free trade was set up by the globalists, corporations, to basically move the globalist one world UN agenda forward. And the idea was to crush the West, to destroy the nation state. And that's exactly what it's been doing. I've always said that a country that can't manufacture what it needs or grow what it needs is in trouble. And that's exactly what's happened to the West. We've become almost completely dependent on foreign countries for our products. And that's ludicrous. I've always said that I'm absolutely pro-competition. You got to have competition. Competition's good for everybody. But you can't compete against a buck an hour. No way, no how, never. And maintain the lifestyle of the West. You can't do it. So the companies got coerced into moving the companies out of their countries that they started them in and moved them to low-cost labor. And again, corporations have no heart. Corporations are amoral by definition. They don't have a moral guidepost. I mean, it's about profit. And so it's very easy for a company, given the opportunity, to pull up stakes and move in order to try to gain an advantage. So you really can't blame the companies so much as you blame your politicians. And every single nation on the planet has signed on to the United Nations and is pushing their agendas. All of these vaccines that you get, or your children get, or are being pushed on you constantly, this didn't come from your nation. It came from the United Nations. And I can't, say enough to people about taking vaccines. I was anti-vaccine before anti-vaccine became popular. All you got to use is a little logic, a little common sense, a little simple thought process. How is it the world survived without vaccines? How come every time somebody gets a runny nose, they got to come up with a new vaccine? Well, one, vaccines is worth a lot of money. And two, vaccines mess people up, which is what the UN wants to do. Vaccines have been proven since the beginning that they're basically useless. They say, well, no, they wouldn't do that. Well, hey, they put fluoride in your water. They put fluoride in your toothpaste, told you it was good for your teeth. And what is it? It's a waste product of a manufacturing process. So if the politicians agree to put fluoride, which is, again, a waste product that is expensive to get rid of, and then pass legislation that it would be added to the water supply and then in the toothpastes and whatnot, why is it so hard to make that leap to vaccines? It shouldn't be. The politics is just really nefarious. Now, we've got this guy by the name of Donald Trump who has won the election, and his party runs the House and the Senate. They have majority in both. Makes a very powerful situation. Mr. Trump sounds not like a politician. He says he's not a politician. Well, let's hope not. Because if he's not a politician, maybe we can get something done. Why all the bad press on Mr. Trump? Simple. He's not a politician. Politicians are generally vetted. They usually come from the local councils and work their way up. And the more crooked, the more nefarious, the bigger liar you are, chances are your career will get better. That John Lennon song said there's still room at the top or on the hill or whatever. I guess it's on the hill. If you're willing to smile as you kill. And that's very true. Politics is extremely corrupt. Now, why would you want corrupt people passing so-called laws when they're not really laws? Corporate bylaws, but why would you want these nefarious people telling you what you can and can't do? Why would you allow a liar in a position where they can pass a law which restricts your freedoms, steals from you, Why would you allow that? That makes no sense. So along rides Mr. Trump. Says he's not a politician. Says he wants to change up a lot of this stuff, from education to free trade to the ever-popular carbon tax to the ever-popular idea that fossil fuels is bad for the world. No wonder the media and the other politicians are freaking out about Mr. Trump. No wonder all of the NGOs who are funded by for the most part, funded by the tax-exempt foundations, which Norman Dodd, who was the head of the Reece Commission, discovered the purpose of the tax-exempt foundations, Rockefeller, Carnegie. I mean, they just go on and on. It's like there's a new one coming up every day. Funding these NGOs, pushing the world order, pushing the world government, pushing the vaccines, pushing, well, everything bad. So, last night I put up a post on my blog and shoved it over to Facebook. And it was sad. It was sad. It was a saddening experience. Because I looked at this years and years and years ago when I was quite young, and I kind of got hoodwinked by it. This McCarthyism thing, this witch hunt, this Red Scare. And I was quite young, and there was nothing good to be said about Senator Joe McCarthy. He was a nutcase. He was looking for what didn't exist. And eventually the media and the other politicians and the Hollywood stars and the Jews that control Hollywood and most of the media managed to stomp him out. So I put up a post about McCarthyism because, to listen to Donald Trump, and hopefully he's not pulling anybody's leg, is that he wants to ditch all of this nonsense that's been going on about climate change and fossil fuels being bad and mass immigration being good and all this kind of stuff. So he's saying the right things, and I appreciate hearing that, because I've said that, well, I don't know the man because I never met him, and I can't really make a judgment on somebody you don't know, although the media and the other politicians and the NGOs and the whack jobs on the left, and I don't play right-left politics. I have no use for politics. I have no use for the right-left, which is divide and conquer. It was set up to divide and conquer. It has always divided and conquered the people, and it continues to do so. So maybe, just maybe, Donald Trump is a man who says what he means and means what he says. I haven't seen too much capitulation yet. I always say what you mean and mean what you say, and if people don't like it, well, then they can just walk away. And I hope that's his real attitude. Because, you see, the first Red Scare was right after the First World War. It came before McCarthyism. And a lot of the people in America were worried about this mass immigration that happened after World War I into the country, who these people were. And they were concerned, after what happened in Russia, they were concerned that the undermining of their nation might begin. But they were basically shut down. Now, World War I produced the League of Nations, which is an outfit pushing for world government, a world socialist government controlled at the world level, which would destroy nation states. After World War II, which produced the United Nations, Senator Joe McCarthy got looking around, didn't like what he saw, didn't like to see what was being imported in the country, and he raised the alarm bell. That was Red Scare 2. Now, once they shut down Joe McCarthy, it's been a slow progression, but a progression that has got us to where we are now. The media is doing nothing more than pushing the globalist agendas. The professors and the teachers in the schools are pushing the agendas. The movies are pushing the agendas. The sports are pushing the agendas. So it has completely infiltrated every aspect of our society in the West. That's why there's so much freaking out about Donald Trump. And I really hope that he means what he says. I really, really hope that is the case. Now, having control of the Senate and the Congress and being the president with executive order power, he can throw a monkey wrench so huge into Red Scare 3. It'll be amazing to watch. But I'm hoping that the men and women of America and across the West take this as a cue that it's time to move. It's time to stand up. It's time to quash this nonsense that's been going on for so long. In the post I did last night, I said we Red Scare 1, Red Scare 2. So you look at this Red Scare 3, and it is World War III. And I keep saying it's a spiritual, psychological war. And anybody that speaks out against vaccines gets denounced. Anybody that speaks out against climate change, global warming gets denounced. Anybody that sees any use for fossil fuels gets denounced. Anybody that speaks up against the control by the Jews in the media and movies and so many other places, the education systems, gets shouted down, called Nazis and white supremacists and all this kind of stuff. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm also not a racist. There are a-holes regardless of your color, your origin, your country. And there's good people regardless. So you can't say that this is 100% bad and is 100% good. But when you understand what's going on and why it's going on, then you can make some picks. Now, I'm hopeful that Donald Trump will shut down this Muslim migration because it was constructed. It didn't happen by itself. It was constructed. And it's an army. And that army is being used to destroy nations. So I'm really hopeful that Mr. Trump is the man I hope he is. Again, I don't know him, never met him. And this is what kills me about people, they fall in love with these politicians and stuff. They do really crazy things. I never met the man. They have no idea who Donald Trump really is. But he's our hero. Okay. I always feel people that call somebody a hero are by nature weak people. This is not a time for weakness. This is a time for strength. Mr. Trump here, I think, I hope, again, as a man of his word, but what I put it down to, we had the Red Scare after World War II, and the League of Nations was formed. Luckily for the world at that point, the American people didn't want nothing to do with the League of Nations because it required giving up some of their sovereignty to a foreign, unelected group. So power to the American people. But all through that time period, Mandel House was instrumental in getting the Fed in. Was running around telling everybody that they had to join, because if they didn't, there'd be another major war in the not too distant future. Now, he wasn't being prophetic. He was told, you tell them idiots to sign this, or we're going to have another war, because we ain't going to lay down till we get what we want. So that's the first Red Scare. The second one, again, is when the United Nations was formed in Israel. In those two wars, some 200 million people lost their lives, give or take. And in the end, the globalists got exactly what they wanted. They got the state of Israel and the United Nations. And we've been going down the toilet ever since. So, Red Scare 1, Red Scare 2, and, you got this game down in the United States called baseball, and it works on the three-strike deal. So if you look at Red Scare 1, when the American people, or the people in the West in general, didn't stand up and stomp out what was being infiltrated into our societies. You call that strike one, and you can call McCarthyism that was shouted down and shut down after World War II and the creation of the United Nations and Israel. You can call that strike two. But he only gets 3 strikes at bat. So here we have our batter. Call it the American people. Call it the Western nations. Standing there at the batter's box. Home run to win. You got 2 strikes, no balls. It ain't looking pretty. And it's not looking pretty. They've gutted our nations. They've infiltrated our nations. Every single local council, city council is implementing the world agenda. And we got possibility of a strike 3 here. The only thing that's going to save us is a home run, or we lose the game. And the question is, can the man with the bat knock it out of the ballpark? Well, we're going to find out. But you see, you need a team. You need a team. And that's exactly what's needed here. Trump's sitting there in the batter's box. Hopefully he's not a con man. Hopefully he means what he says. And he's sitting there with the bat, waiting for the pitch. But he knows he needs a team. And the people, the men and women, have to be that team. We have got to cleanse our nations of the combination of Red Scare 1 and 2. That's World War I, World War II, and we are in the midst of World War III, a spiritual, psychological war. And we got to knock it out of the park. Because if we don't roll this back, it's over. And I don't want to hear anybody saying, well, Trump tried, or it's not about Mr. Trump, although he's the one with the bat. It's about the people. You got to get engaged, people. You can't just stay in the audience. You can't just sit in the stands and hope that the batter knocks it out of the park and wins the game so you can all stand up and cheer and wave your towels in the air and have that a permanent memory etched in your brain for all time. This isn't a game. This is real life. So you got to get out of the audience. Because like in a game, win or lose, it's really just a game. So if you cheer because the home run was hit, or you go, because it was strike three, it really doesn't affect you one way or the other. It's not going to change anything one way or the other. But this is real life. We can't just sit in the stands and hope the ball gets knocked out of the park. Because if the ball don't get knocked out of the park this time, the repercussions are going to be wicked. And these are wicked people. The people who created World War I and World War II and now World War III, these are the most wicked of the wicked. And we are allowing that wickedness to determine our futures. We can't do that anymore. We can't allow that. That's why you get these Hollywood stars and talk show hosts and professors and people of that sort saying that if Trump wins, that they're going to move out of the country. Well, you see, the win by Mr. Trump has put a scare into these people. Mr. Trump seems to have it through his head of what's going on. He seems to be able to look at history with some fairly clear eyes and understand what the hell's been going on. And this is a great opportunity for everyone who knows and sees and understands and has the knowledge to understand what the hell's been going on for so long to step forward. This is the time to build the team. This is the time to bring the team to a game that matters. But what really bothered me about what I put up last night was, and I ain't got much time for this right now. We're doing a commercial renovation. So between that and this and a bunch of other things, I ain't got a lot of time. But I do believe these shows are important, if not to my listening audience, they are to me, because it gives me an opportunity to think and reflect. And I find that very helpful. But I also know that the political system as it is rotten to the core. It has to be changed. And that's why I keep encouraging people to run for their local councils. Because again, that's where you live. You have access to it. It's easy to get to. It's cheap to get to. You don't need $1 billion to run in a local election. Like Trump said, he said he's not a politician. You don't like him. Didn't want to be. He don't want to be in politics. But watching what happened in his nation over the years, over the decades, he didn't think he had a choice. He had to get up and do something. And I hope people take that lead. You've got to get up and do something. You got to run in the local councils or in your state elections or your county elections, whatever they got. Run in them. Get your friends to run in them. Because as they bring more and more Muslims, more Chinese, more Latinos, you're going to find that your local council fills up with these people, that your state legislatures fill up with these people. And guess what? They're the ones that make the supposed laws. And do you think for 1 minute they're going to make them in favor of the American people? Now, that may sound a little bit racist to some. It's not. There are good people. But even if they are good people, they're still being put into these political positions on purpose for a reason. And it is not for the benefit of the nation. You know, if you are a Latino and a Latino guy gets into the state house and you're cheering and all that, well, don't cheer too hard because he doesn't represent you. He or she does not represent you. She's become part of the club. And they don't give a damn about you. And that's important to understand. I don't think Donald Trump was vetted. Doesn't appear to be anyways. And so, again, I hope he is who he says he is and wants to do what he says he wants to do, but he needs the men and women on side. He needs them active. And the only place the 99% can become active is at the local level. And it's so simple. $100 for the most part. It'll vary a little bit, but generally around $100. You can step up to the plate. And you can pick up that bat. Now, instead of sitting in the audience, you got a chance of cracking a home run. Because if you get in, just like Trump, they don't want you in because you're an outsider. Understand, politics is a closed house, man. It's a closed ship. They don't want you in at the local level. That should make you angry. And it should encourage you even more to put your name down, step up to the plate. Now you're not sitting in the audience. Now you're part of the team. And any member of that team at any time, regardless of how lousy a batter they are, has the capacity to hit a home run. Why? Because they're standing at the plate and they got the bat in their hand. And if you ain't standing at the plate and you ain't got your bat in the hand, then you ain't got no chance of bringing the team home. You ain't got no chance of winning the game. So you need to step up to the plate. And I think that's what Donald Trump did. So I can't watch this crap no more. I can't take this no more. This nation's going in the sewer hole. And I need to step up to the plate. Now, he had the finances that to run at the top end of the game. But again, 99% of the people don't. So you got to play the game where you can. But where do all the best ball players start out? Little League. You look at your council chambers, your local council, your local city hall as a Little League. You got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. I don't know any major league ball player or any sportsman that reached the top didn't start out in some sort of Little League situation. So look at it that way. You got to get out of that damn audience. You got to get out of the stands and you got to get down on the playing field. And be damn proud you do it as well. And encourage your friends and neighbors, you know. And you'll get all the same lame, stupid excuses. You know, you could say, well, you know, Trump he's not a politician, but he understood something wrong and he got up and did so. Well, I ain't got the kind of money Trump's got. You'll hear these stupid-ass excuses. The people in the West have got to be the best excuse makers on the planet. We can make an excuse for anything not to do something. And then just wander off bitching and complaining. I find that very disheartening. So I'm quite pleased. I guess that Mr. Trump got in. Not that I know his politics. Not that I don't know if this man can be trusted or not. But I do see him as a beacon. Call him, what was that? What was that? What was that? The town cry or whatever that rode through the town yelling, the British are coming, the British are coming. That's what I see Trump as. He's warning. And it's the same thing. We got to beat these guys back. And people say to me, so you don't believe in climate change? Nope. Other than the climate changes, but not what you guys are talking about. Were you saying vaccines are bad? Absolutely. And you're saying the education system doesn't do its job? Absolutely. But then I've always said that. And that's what I see in Mr. Trump. He's saying what the hell he sees. And he's calling it out. I'm so sick of people saying, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Damn it. No wonder we're in the position we are now. No wonder all our manufacturing jobs left our nations. No wonder we got this swollen government. What do you think they did? They moved your jobs out of your nations, and then they had to do something with these people. So what'd they do with them? They brought them in and inflated the government. Now all of those people that used to be freedom, liberty-minded people are now working for the government. And they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them. Same in the newspaper business, same in all media. I get people I think it's really good because so many of these people outed themselves. Like De Niro, anti-vaccine. Then all of a sudden he's basically apologizing for it. Now he's depressed because Trump got in. You got professors all over the place encouraging their students to walk out of the schools and protest and this and that. Why? Because they're worried about they don't give a damn about the students. They're worried about their futures. Because if Trump does what Trump's going to say he's going to do, then all of this money that's been flowing from the tax-exempt foundations is kind of going to have a hard time operating. And that means an awful lot of these professionals are going to be, well, looking for cash. I want to see these nations back to where they're supposed to be. Producing what they need for themselves, trading what they got extra, and importing only what they can't grow or manufacture themselves. And there is nothing that Canada and the United States cannot manufacture, engineer, or grow for its own people. That's a fact. But yet, what do we see? You can't walk in a corner store. You can't go to a grocery store. It's like we've turned into third world countries. Everywhere you go, some organization has its hand out looking for donations. Now, how can nations this rich have this many different organizations out looking to help the poor? Why the hell have we got poor? There's no need for poor people in our nations. Our nations are vastly wealthy. I think Trump said there was something like 45 million Americans on food stamps. Now, how is that even possible? Because it was constructed, it was conceived, it was done to the people on purpose. None of these things happened by chance. They never did, and they never will. But we got lazy in the minds and the spines, and we let the Red Scare I go by and Red Scare II go by, and now we're in the midst of World War III, the spiritual psychological war that is being pounded on those people who have had their minds and their spines weakened through the education system, through the media system, through the political system. It's time we push back hard. There's a lot of nervous people in North America right now, and damn good. It looks good on them. I hope they don't sleep. I hope they're taking their little pills. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, all the nefarious things you people have been involved in for all these decades are being outed now. You can't hide anymore. It's time to clean it up. You know, I posted on my blog, I found a book, I guess, by McCarthy, and I was going to put that in. I didn't really write much about it because I don't got a lot of time right now. But if I find this thing, where'd it go? Where is my little bloggerunio here? And I don't post much on it because I used to post a lot on it, but like I said before, when I got the notice, which still makes me kind of giggle, because I used to get an awful lot of hits, and then I got that wild and woolly notice that the Vatican is now following your updates. And right after that, my hits kind of went in the shithole, and they never really recovered. So, and I hate Facebook with a passion, but I use it to try to get to people any way I know how. And when I posted this thing about the need to resurrect McCarthyism, and I posted it to about, I don't know, 20 American Facebooks, American Patriots and anti-Illuminatis and America First and all these so-called patriotic outfits. When I posted the thing about McCarthyism, the need to resurrect it, didn't really get that warm a welcome. And so that tells me that an awful lot of these so-called patriot sites and that are not really, they're just controlled opposition. I know they flooded the entire internet with this nonsense, but this is here, I didn't read it yet. I haven't had time, but I intend to read it. But that back near the back of this article or this book or whatever, it says the smear, right? The big smear campaign. And I think that was referring to take down to McCarthy and the outing of the Reds. And I don't care if you call them communists or Marxists or globalists. Red seems to fit the whole works. The title of this thing is McCarthyism, The Fight for America by Senator Joe McCarthy. And when I listen to Trump on his 100-day plan or whatever it is, that's exactly what came to my mind. Trump, the fight for America, or Trumpism, I guess, the fight for America, or McCarthyism, the fight for America, is a fight. And we best stand up and get to it. And I'm not talking about violence, not required. Proved that out at the Bundy Ranch when they stood down the feds. There's a difference between moral and amoral. The UN and the globalists are amoral. They're psychopaths, sociopaths, deceivers, liars. And they work for that guy there that's kind of slithers around there and deceives people. Then you got the moral aspect. Those are good men and women, work hard, look out for their families, and so on and so forth. They've been beat down bad. So when I saw Trump's thing there in his 100-day, I thought back to McCarthyism, which when I was young, I was convinced. I thought this guy was making sense, but then all the media called him out, the other politicians called him out, or a lot of them. The movie stars called him out, and I said, well, maybe this guy is just a cracker. And I was fed this. I was really, really young. I mean, really young. I was born in 54. McCarthyism was in the 50s. And they got me. You can't call people out. You can't do that. Everyone has the right. And, that was the liberal voice, I guess. But it was coming from everywhere. And it died. So they got what they wanted again. And along come Donald. Now, I don't think you can call Donald down. God knows the media's been trying to do it. The movie stars have been trying to do it. The professors in the university have been trying to do it. The other politicians have been trying to do it. And he still seems to be standing. but you need a team. And like I keep saying, you got to get out of the audience. This is not entertainment. This is the future of your families, your kids, your grandkids, those not born. You can't look at this lightly. And I have no use for people that want to run away. This isn't about running away. It's about standing ground. Run away is to say, I'm whooped, I'm hiding, I'm a wuss. We got to put our foot down, people. So again, like I said, I don't know Donald Trump, never met the man. You know, and it's too much of that going on, you know. Like I know people that watch, take my mom, I love my mom to death. But, you know, she had this tennis player she liked, Federer or whatever his name was. And other players she didn't like. And I said, I don't understand what you're saying. You love this guy and you hate that guy. Why is that? Well, you know, because somewhere she read something or heard something in the media and was influenced by it. But I asked her, I said, have you ever met either of these people? Well, no. Well, how the hell can you make these judgments? How can you love this one and dislike that one if you don't know either one of them? And I think that's what's happened across the board. People make these weird judgments without knowing who they're making the judgment about. Their judgment is completely based upon what the media's been telling them. And that ain't a good idea. So when I came to understand what was going on during the McCarthyism time, I realized I'd gotten hoodwinked. And that makes me really angry. So I don't like being deceived. And I don't think it can be deceived anymore. Because that's the old saying, once you see, you can't not see, and once you know, you can't not know. And then you can't be deceived anymore. So we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a short time to do it in. And, you know, it's not going to change overnight, but I do believe that maybe, just maybe, hopefully, Trump and his gang can start to turn this ship around. Rock the boat, so to speak. Because the boat's been floating upside down a long time in the netherworld. And we got to get it righted. And that's why we got to participate. We got to rock the snot out of that boat till we flip it. Get it back up to the real world. Our world, the moral world. The world of men and women. Not these fictional characters they turned everybody into. That's the netherworld. And that world ain't real. It's the world of the manipulators and the deceivers. We got to get back up to honesty and moral values. And I would encourage the people of America and everywhere else to get behind Mr. Trump until he shows that maybe he is not what he purports to be. And at that time, then he needs to get dumped quick. But I know the guy's a good salesman. And, you know, I didn't pay any attention to the election all the way through. I didn't listen to any speeches. I didn't listen to any debates. There's noise. But when I watched that 100-day plan of Mr. Trump, not having watched any of the noise up to that point, and just listened to what he had to say, he's on the right track. He's absolutely on the right track. if he's sincere, which he seems to be, but a good actor can get you to believe a lot of things that may or may not be true. So, but what he's saying is correct. You got to get the tariffs back. You got to fix the education system. The political system is a cesspool of Satanists who have no moral capacity whatsoever. So he's right on so many points. And I think it's time that the people took this opportunity. I mean, it shocked a lot of people because the red rhetoric that we've been pounded on for decades, or pounded with for decades, all of a sudden, the language, the ideas are completely foreign to most people now. Tariffs? We can't have tariffs. What's wrong with the education system? I mean, it's really, this is generational. It's been one generation after the other getting hoodwinked. So very difficult for people to make sense of what this Mr. Trump guy is saying. What he's saying is exactly what needs to get done. And the people, not just of the America, but people all over this world need to step up to the plate, get out of the audience, get into the batter's box. And I'm talking to your local council. Pick that bat up and wait for the right pitch. And knock that sucker out of the ballpark. We have got to take back control of our local councils, because that is where all of this nonsense is coming through. One little town, one little city at a time, global to local. Yes, folks, your council, your local town council, your city council is part of the Red Scare or the Red Threat. But we don't need to be afraid of them. We just need to sweep them out of our way. And then we'll rebuild our nations. And I think I walked myself out of time there pretty much. We're in for an interesting bit of time here, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm just hoping that the people can and will step up to the plate. And then we'll find out what we got. We'll find out we actually got nations. We actually find out that we actually got real neighborhoods, not these convoluted, constructed neighborhoods. And we'll go from there. So, everybody have a great night. We're back here Thursday night, same time, same place. And everybody take care. And get out of the stands and get down on the field. Play ball. And we're out of here. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. And remember, spread the word. UCY.TV is getting more and better.
Social slime, they don't matter, genocide. Sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air, fuck them back, it's only for they bomb. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape, they burn the kids. No one makes countries lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives.
This is JJ